Welcome to Ponte Politique. Thank you very much for joining us once again on this wonderful Sunday of the 20. What is the date today? I think it is the 5th of February, 2023. Uthando lwethu kaDlanga, umthunga uyonga wemalingi, undima kaNkumbuzo welcomes you once again to this wonderful platform. Before we move and we go anywhere, remember we've got Ponte Politique on YouTube, and ensure that you are subscribing to us and you are following the conversations that we are taking part in. Different conversations, most of them, they are mainly political, judging from the French name of the program, which is Ponte Politique, a bridge to politics. The idea for some people, it would be called Politics 101. Majority of time, people tend to ask, why do you think it is important to engage on politics all the time? No, we are not engaging on politics all the time. We are only engaging on politics on this platform on Sundays at 6 p.m. up until 7 o'clock. So welcome if you are watching with us on YouTube, and welcome if you are watching with us on Twitter at Ponte Politique. If you are there on Twitter, make sure that you retweet. And also on Facebook, we are available at Ponte Politique. Follow us, add us as your friend, and follow us in all our conversations, and on Instagram, and lastly on TikTok. So anything that you want to say, anything that you want to review, any comment that you want to put across when we are engaging in these discussions, these different conversations, you are welcome to do that. So umthungu ke njengoba benchilo umalingi uyengoyo kaNkumbuzo undima unkomoshi uthi kuni, welcome, and thank you very much for being part and parcel of this conversation. Just to take something out of the way, a week ago I visited a specialist doctor at a private hospital, and we were speaking about the issue of load shedding and the impact it has on the daily lives of the people of South Africa. One of the things that majority of people have not been speaking about, and they have not considered in the main, the doctor said to me, was the issue of the impact of load shedding on elderly citizens. So I asked the doctor, what do you mean? He says, the majority of the citizens, the old citizens, that is old people, because they would go to the toilet at night and there's no electricity. Majority of them, they get to be injured because they slip or they hit the walls, or whatever injuries that they experience, because they are not used, because they can't see. They do not have the capacity to see in the dark because there's no electricity at that particular time. And he then says, the doctor says to me, the majority of people that they have seen, which are old citizens who have been injured at night, has been a very concerning, and the people whom they are seeing have been affected for a greater, for the remainder of their lives, and the chances of them getting back sitting as Xhosa, their chances zogumila are very slim because of the effect of the injuries. You would remember I spoke about load shedding the other day, and I talk about the Amapara and how Amapara have become the traffic controllers on the road. And I appreciate the work that they do, but I'm trying to show you the other threads. The issue of load shedding has not only affected the people who are a working class, but they also have affected the people who are old citizens. But these ones, it has affected them physically in their bodies. So I think people who do research, people who engage in politics, people who engage in policy, people who do analysis around the issue of energy in our country should think about this, and it must be brought into the surface as one of the effects of load shedding in our society. Now that is out of the way, today we are speaking everything music. We are speaking everything music, and we've got a beautiful guest, a person that I respect, a legend in the music industry, a person that I've loved as I was growing up, a person that I've seen, and when I saw him at my older years, I was like, it's been long since I last saw him. So today we've got a music maestro, we've got a composer, we've got an artist, a community activist, a person who knows music, a radio host, and a lot of things, and the founder of Mlungisi Music Academy. We've got Usa Gegs, Mlungisi Gegana. Beauty, welcome.
Hey, what an intro, man. Hey, Tando. Hey, thank you so much, man. Thank you so much for inviting me, man. I'm honored, man. Honored, yes. Man. Thank you so much, my brother. Yeah.
You know, over the past week, me and the team of Pond the Politic, we had said that we want to ease into the 2023 by looking at different and looking at different things as we start the 2023, because once the show is running and it is full steam, we tend to be very, 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 very moving politically, and we do a deep analysis of political issues. But we thought, let us ease into these conversations. That's why you came in, and I'm very grateful to host you. You are a legend. For people who do not know, Mlungisi Gegana is a legend. Before we can move anywhere, let me tell my own story so that I can allow you to tell your own story, because it is important. I was born in Komani, and at the time when I was born there, Uputi Mlungisi was amongst the people whom we saw as Obuti Engingweni. So he's my neighbor, front opposite. Apo ndikhulele ndizalelwe khona. And there was a time when Uputi Mlungisi felt like we needed to learn music, and we would organize amagongwe oile, and he would cut them in the middle to create guitars. And I remember it was me, I think umchana wako uvyolwethu, and I remember also unceba sasitting obas. Then Ibenguluvuyo, who was older than us,
the Ivy. I used to call him the Ivy.
The Ivy, yes. Which Ivy. So I remember at the time you taught us, or you were trying to teach us music, to get the sense of music at the time. But unfortunately, around the period of the state of emergency in South Africa, I think it was around 84, 85, somewhere there, you decided to leave. I think your project then was cut short. And everything else then started to happen. So that is my story. I don't want to be involved in the story of Usa Gegs, but Usa Gegs is a legend. He knows his story. He's a musician. He's everything. He's a legend. For those that are watching that want to share something about him, you can say that, because I could see somebody saying already, we gave you a beautiful intro. So we are grateful that there are people who are watching. Welcome, everybody. Buti Mlungisi, what do you do? Yes. Who is Buti Mlungisi? For our viewers who do not know Buti Mlungisi, on top of the intro that I have given.
Mlungisi, Tando, he's a person who was born in Queenstown some years back in the 60s, grew up in Queenstown, surrounded by a lot of music. Although there wasn't much music at home, but around me there was a lot of music. Also, as I was about, I think I was around 11 years of age, a family moved next door my home. And they had a son who was like 2-3 years older than me, and he had this guitar, a homemade guitar, the one that I taught you guys from, and it, for me, it was the first time seeing that kind of an instrument, it was fascinating. And I asked him to teach me, and of course he did, and we became so close. But because of my grandparents were people. In fact, they're late now. They were Christians. At the time, if you are seen as someone who's playing music, it's like you don't have a life. There's nothing that you can provide. There's nothing you can't make a life. You can't make a career out of the music. And they tried all their best to stop me from it, take me to church, and make sure that I go to school. But of course, as a child, you'll always sneak out, and find a way. And especially when something is your calling. But I mean, because now I believe that music is my calling. So I grew up in that kind of environment, of course, with friends as well, as we grow up. Some of my friends at their homes, they had lots of records, which is, for me, my parents didn't really follow music as much as I do now. So I wouldn't say that I got this from home. I got it from the environment, but the bug was there. But I think the bug is the story that I was told, that my father used to play guitar and my mother used to play. In fact, she used to sing at school. And she was one of the most loved young person while she was still at school. It could be that, but I don't know. But in my growing up at home, there was no music. I was the only one who had music. We had, cassettes and stuff. And the vinyls, those small little vinyls, the 45s and 78s. But yeah, to fast forward a little bit, I grew up, I went to school, and then I pursued the musical career as I was growing up. But in 1986, it was 1986 when I left for Cape Town, because in Cape Town, we have a big family in Cape Town, my aunts and cousins, in some of that, when I was still very young, I also lived in Cape Town. I started my sub A and my sub B in Cape Town, sorry.
Okay.
So I went back. I mean, of course, I used to go for holidays, but in 1986, I made up my mind that I want to be in Cape Town just to pursue my musical career. My cousin's sister introduced me to musicians that she knew then. The late Winds and Dabeni, the late Godfrey Nsila, bass player. Quite a number of people, and I met some of the people as I was moving around Cape Town. One of my big mentors is Spencer Mbadu. We became so close with Spencer, and he gave me some lessons. I learned a lot from him. Quite a lot of other people in Cape Town. But yeah, and then I started. In fact, I became friends with a guitar player from Sweden that was starting in Cape Town. We became so close. He was staying at this big building. On his own. It was funny that he was staying in such a building. And he had a room. He was on first floor. He occupied the whole first floor. So he asked me if I could join him because he wants to open up a jazz club. That was around late 1986. I think it was around November, December. Because I remember we went to play in fact, they were playing. I was not playing at the time. They were playing this gig, and I came along with them. And I think it was around, if it was not the 24th, because it was not one of those days, the festive season time. I think it was either the 24th or the 31st of January, but it was one of those big days. And then after that, we went to his place. He gave me space to sleep. I never went home after that because I saw instruments at his place. And then I thought, this is what I wanted, man. I wanted to sit and practice. And I picked up the bass then because when I left, I was playing a bit of guitar and some percussion, but when I saw this bass, and then I was just hooked into it. Then I started practicing, and then until some people noticed, then I started getting bookings, and then, I went to school. I went to study for jazz diploma, a 2-year jazz diploma. I couldn't finish it because while I was still busy studying on my second year, a band from PE. Yes, the music. I was studying music. A band from PE were looking for a bass player, and a friend of mine recommended me to these guys. It was a band that I used to listen to when I was still young, a band called Black Slave from Port Elizabeth.
Okay, I remember.
By Jurin Chinga, but now he's late. So yeah, I joined the band. We toured as far as Namibia, and then came back. Yeah, then I started also playing with various bands. Playing with various bands until I enrolled at the University of Cape Town at the College of Music. Even then, I couldn't finish. But then the problem was money. I didn't have enough money to study. Then I packed my bags. I went to Johannesburg.
So basically, you've been in the music industry for as long as I can remember.
As a professional, it's over 30 years.
Okay.
As I regard the professionalism, when you reach the professionalism, especially in music, it's when you are getting paid, because now people appreciate what you're doing. They see that they can pay for it. For me, of course, I played before that, but when I started getting paid, it was 40 rands, even the money that I got paid. It was 1986.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been in the industry for over 30 years as a professional.
So yes, it is. I see somebody says there, Nelly Swasemoko is astonished about the outline of yourself and the type of person that you are. And a majority of people, they don't know that you are also. There's a lot of music that you have made. You've got albums. One of the songs that I was listening to yesterday and a day ago. I think it says, "I am who I am," something along those lines.
Yeah. Look. Yeah.
I want to hear that. Why did you come up with that?
It's called "I Am Who Am I."
Or "I Am Who Am I."
And that title confuses a lot of people, and I've been asking so many questions.
I'm one of those.
I've been asked that question so many times, and I can understand. Look, there was a mistake that was made, but for us as artists, we were like, leave it like that. Let's just
like that. Okay.
Yeah, it's also a brain teaser, just to get people thinking. What was he trying to say? Or some people saying it's a wrong English, say it's a wrong English.
Probably people will say it's a wrong English because of this one-dimensional thought that we have as a people, that we think that a way of doing or saying things is one way, while somebody else could have said it probably might have not even been a mistake, but the spirits were guiding you on a totally different trajectory. But what I picked up from that song was it calmed me, and the reason why I'm raising it, I want to show even to people that when we talk about you as a musician, you have even produced albums, you composed songs, you've played with a great number of people, legends in their own right, who see you when Gustiwa Mlungisi Gegana, they be like, hey, because we are not talking about an ordinary musician. And and this background is important to what we are going to be talking about, because majority of the people, they always want to credential a person before they want to listen to them. Whatever opinion that the person is giving, they want to credential that particular person so that they can be able to to say, okay, we'll listen only when we're listening. Let's take this quick comment, Bramlu, so that we can take it out of the way, so that we don't forget about it. Uneli Swasemugu is asking about how can she buy the music. Is there a specific way of purchasing the music, or what?
There is. You see, because now we don't have CD stores anymore. I mean, most musicians that are selling CDs, they've got them, with them, or people that are also working with them. For example, in Durban, we have people that really follow us a lot, and people that love music. It's Mamsi, Njangas, and Yoli Swandima, and quite a lot of other people, even in Cape Town, in lots of other places, because we do send stuff to them so that people around the area could access it, or they can order it from us. I've got the stock myself. All you do, I'm selling it for 100 rands, because you're gonna have to pay a package. Normally it's 150, but if somebody order, I give it a 50%, in fact a 25% or so discount, so that the person doesn't really pay too much. Otherwise, for me, if I'm at the gig, I'm selling it for 150. But if you order a copy, you pay 100 rand for a postage that goes to, posting the package, and then the 100 rands is for the CD. So you pay 200 rands for everything.
Okay.
And how and the CD.
And people can contact you directly on your
people can contact me. Yes, people can contact me directly.
Give us your give us your WhatsApp line.
Well, my WhatsApp line, it's 072 514 9480. That's my WhatsApp line. And the email address, it's mlugeg@yahoo.com. mlugeg@yahoo.com.
Just
On
repeat
Facebook,
it again. Mlugeg.
mlu@yahoo.com.
Okay, and then on Facebook you are?
On Facebook, I'm Mlungisi Gegana.
Okay, I think our people will be able to. There is the contact numbers if you want to get hold of music of Usegeg, 072-514-9480 on WhatsApp, or send an email, and the cost is 200 rands to get the music that he is talking about. Now, thanks for that clarity, Sagex. But then, since you did not win with us, and very strange is that I'm intelligent enough to know that you left around the state of emergency, which means I was always here, long time ago.
And you're right. You're quite right.
So I was always here. Since you failed with us as that generation that you were trying to teach because you were still pursuing your own dream. Later in the years, you go to Cape Town, you travel the world, you do your music, you become a professional, go to Johannesburg, you influence a large number of selling artists that came out to play and sell platinums. Your Thandiswa Mazwai, McCoy Mrubata are your groupies and others. But then you come back, you decide to come back to Komani. I hate saying Queenstown, I'm sorry. You come back to Komani and you decide to establish a music academy. Just take us through that a little bit. Why did you decide that? Why did you decide to come back and then establish this music academy? And where is it based at? What is its objective? And what does it want to achieve to the young people of Komani?
I'm a very passionate person, and I'm also a person who, if I have my sight on something, I work on that, and I make sure it gets the lack of a better word, it gets the attention it deserves, and I'm also someone who doesn't have the plan Bs. Not that there's anything wrong with the plan Bs. For me, I don't have a plan B, because to me, a plan B, it will mean that I don't believe on the plan A.
Okay.
You understand? So I believe so much on the plan A. The minute I set my sight on the plan A, I always achieve what I want. It's like when I left in 1986, as you know, I knew that I'm going to pursue my musical career, and I did just that. And I even studied, as I was saying, as much as that I couldn't finish, but I mean, I've got a lot of knowledge with me, because I surrounded myself with the well-experienced, well-known musicians, the likes of Winston Mangunkungus, the Ezra Nluganas, the Dias guys like Elvin and Errol Dias, the Shielder family, while I was still living in Cape Town, the Spencer Barrett, the top musicians that you could find in the country, the ones that are based in Cape Town. So when I did that, when I moved to Cape Town, I played with the top guns, as I've mentioned. Then I decided to go to Johannesburg, because I felt that in South Africa, if you really, really, really want to test yourself, that you are in the peak, going to have to be in that kind of environment, because that environment also has a lot of business element in it as a musician, which is Cape Town doesn't have as much as Johannesburg has. So those were one of the reasons, because I really wanted to take my music out to the world, and Johannesburg can provide that platform for you. So I moved to Johannesburg, and the first person I met as a friend was Zim Ngawana. We became so close, and I moved around with him. Then I started playing. In fact, I got involved on a television program, the jazz series that was called The Bejazzled. On that program, we backed quite a number of musicians. The Zim Ngawanas, the Steve Dyer, Jesus, man, quite a lot. It's just that Gloria Postman couldn't get the time to do it because she was also built for that. Then on that show, that even Jonas Gwanga was also there. That show really, really launched me in a big way because people saw me on the show. Some saw me on the television. Then I started getting a lot of calls, to be part of of some of the bands. I remember there was a tour that I got involved in on my early days in Johannesburg to go to Kimberley. There's a festival called Diamonds and Dorings in Kimberley. I played with two artists in one evening, Gloria Bosman and Ringo Madlingos on that day, and then then things started to come. I mean, people started to book me. But now for me, the other thing that was really, really on top of my priorities was to push myself, especially my music.
Wow.
I started writing a lot of music, although I had some of the songs when I moved to Johannesburg. Then I started focusing on that. Then I started, organizing my own gigs. I remember I had a regular gigs at a club called Kippies, an international club in Johannesburg. It was run by Brasipo Hostix Mabuse. Then I asked Brasipo if I could have a regular there on a Thursday. Then he gave me the Thursdays. I remember this one evening I was playing, and there was somebody sitting in front, and this guy was on the phone. I get annoyed when people are not paying attention when I perform, especially if I see them. He's not listening.
He's not here. He's not here.
Yeah, and I'm like, this guy, man. I didn't know him at the time. And then I was like, but okay, I'm going to do my work. And I worked. And then now, so weeks later, a month later, two friends of mine, myself and Handile Yanana, and a guy called Neil Cooney. Neil Cooney, I used to play with his brother. Neil Cooney is a drummer, but he's also a sound engineer. His brother is a piano player, Steve Cooney. And then we got together, and then we said, we're going to record, because Steve Cooney also has a studio. We're going to record 4 of my songs and make sure that even the production, it's top notch. Then we're going to go and negotiate with the studios, with the record companies. We're not going to be like most artists do. You go and leave your demo, and when they want to call you, they do. Sometimes they don't. But we said, on that day, we're going to sit them down. They listen to it. They're going to give us an answer on that day. We are willing to give them another day, but we want the answer on that day. But guess what? When we walk to the studio, the guy that I saw on the phone at Kippies, he's there.
In the gig.
And he's one of the executive guys. I'm like, yes, this guy. And then he said, yeah, you are. And then he said to me, we were talking about you yesterday. And he started reminding me about that day.
Wow.
He said, the day I was there on my phone, I was talking to my colleagues, saying to them, there's this, we have to record this artist. And I'm watching this guy here, and I'm like, wow. We couldn't even take out the music that we brought to the to Ghana.
Because already he was already there.
So the first deal for me came because of that. The first recording was called One Step Forward. And then, we recorded that album. But also, even before then, I also, I was, as you mentioned, McCoys, those guys are my friends. And we playing together. We tour together. We play with different projects. As now, we got a project called Vivid Africa with McCoy, Greg, Jadis, and some of other musicians in Johannesburg. So my first recording came out because of that. Then now, after, in fact, it came a period, because I'm just going to cut the story short. It came a period now that I have to turn now to another page. I had 2 options. The first one was to go to the States or France, because in these 2 countries, there are people that are saying to me, you can come. There's a South African bass player, one of the best South African bass player. His name is Bagiti Komalo. Komalo played with Paul Simons. Is the one who made that record with that bass line that is played on that record. So Bakiti, we were talking, and then he's like, Lungis, if you want to come to the States, you can come and live with me in Philadelphia until you find yourself, And I'm like, okay, cool. This is one of the options that I can have. And then there's a friend of mine who also just passed away from France, because every time I'm in France, I would spend a week with him, after I finished everything. I would just hang around with him in France for a week. Then it was like, look, man, I would love you to come and live in France with me. We'll do wonders. And then the other one was to come back home to Queenstown and help in terms of development here in Queenstown. As I was thinking about these options, man, I'm like, man, I go to the States. There's this Bakiti says he can help. And I go to France. China said he can help. I also want to go home. Here's the man. Here's the man. Beautiful person, man. Beautiful guy. He's got a new album. I can't remember the name. The title. He's got a new album. And then I was like, I think I should come back home and help with the development. Because you see, the thing is, man, every time I come home for holidays and I go back with a heart store, man, you know, seeing the state of this town, man, and seeing people with a lot of talent that are not doing anything. And I was like, man, no, man, let me come home. Let me try and work with people here. And I came and I spoke to the department. That was disappointing, man. It was really, really disappointing. You know, sometimes you get to a place, you have something in your hand that you can share with everybody.
You're pumped up as a person.
You pumped up. You know, also they will give you the impression that they are with you in what you are saying. We're gonna carry this thing together. Because I didn't come to them and say, give me this. I came to them and say, let's work together. This is what I have. I'm a professional musician. I studied. I can help with whatever that is happening here, as far as it has music in it. But you go to these offices, man, these guys, you can tell when you come in, but you can only realize it afterwards. You were just given a platform to say whatever you wanted to say and get out of here.
And after that, you must just leave.
Yeah, for them. And they will go around and say, no, our offices are open. You can come and engage. You can come and engage. You say whatever you want to say, get out. And who's willing to do anything about it. And they will even promise you as if something is going to happen. But you'll realize it after a time. Because what happened to me, this particular person, when I spoke to, he gave me a lot of hope that we're going to work. And I even wanted to involve other people. They said, no, you don't have to involve them. We're going to make it work. Every time I call him, he comes to me with a different story. Then I realized that even the first story that we spoke about, it ended on that day. The minute I walked out of his office, that was it. You understand? So that's the impression. And it's like that even today, you know. But
just Pramlu, when did you, because you missed an opportunity of going abroad to go and expand as a person. When did you decide to then come back to Queenstown? As you say, to come and plant to see this development, because you see the state of affairs, not only with the people, but the state of affairs of the town, which last week actually we were talking about it's under Inokum Kichima municipality. For those who are watching with us, we were talking about that. So when did you decide to come back? What year was it?
It was 2018. And also that time, Sipo Hot Sticks approached me to join his band because he wanted to have he's got a bass player who plays a beautiful electric bass, David Mrubata. He's a lovely musician, but he wanted a double bass player, and I'm sure he wanted somebody who has an experience in double bass playing. And Brasipo and myself are good friends. And then that was the time I was just joining Brasipo's band. I remember the last gig I played with him, he got invited by the Minister of Arts and Culture to Cape Town. I think it was a budget speech or something like that. And then Brasipo knew, but I think he was a bit disappointed because he really wanted me to be part of the band. But unfortunately, by that time, I've already made up my mind that I'm coming back to Queenstown. So yeah, it was 2018, end of May, when I came back to Queenstown.
To
open up the Mlungisi Music Academy.
And what was in your heart was this starting of this academy. You decide to start this academy, and it starts, and then how did it then go? Because you are getting these many stories, but did you manage to finally start it with what and with who?
I started by myself with everything that I had, because I do have my own instruments. I do have pianos. I've got 2 piano, acoustic and electric piano. I've got a set of drums. I've got stuff to start with, But I was hoping that this program will be subsidized, because no one is paying to come to the school. No one is paying. And one of the reasons why no one is paying to come to my school, as much as at the beginning I had a fee, just to keep this program going, I had a fee of 500 rands a month per student. But as the time goes, I remember there was one boy, if it was not the second or third student that joined me, it was cold. I think it was around July or August, beginning of August. This boy, because these kids, when they come to my school, I interview them. I want to know who they are, where they're coming from. And his story was, he lives with his grandmother. His mother died, and his father is in prison. How do you charge? And his grandmother is paying. You know, he's a grand person, man. He's a SASA. She gets pension fund. He gets pension from the government. Tell me, how am I going to charge this kid to come and play 500 rands? He wants to learn. He wants to learn music. He wants to play music. But how are you going to say to him, you can't learn because you have to pay 500 rands?
You have to pay 500 rands.
From?
Yeah.
Where is he going to get it from? Do you understand? Then I decided on that day, if somebody doesn't have the money, still has to come and study. If you have the money, you pay. If you don't, you don't. Today, I charge 150 a month. I charge 150 a month because this program was not made for me to make money. It was made to develop this community, this program. It's made to develop this community.
And I see that you've got a lot of kids there, school-going kids that are there. And I wonder how many are they, and maybe the age categories that are there, the number of kids that are there in a month, and the age categories, because I see a lot of school-going kids.
We started also lessons at the school for the kids who's living with disability last Wednesday. I can't remember the number we were given, but at my school, I have about 97 registered students. As much as over 50% of those don't attend anymore. Some do come whenever they have time. I don't ask them questions. I don't say, where have you been? I mean, I do ask that, but not because I cannot teach you or you can't be a part of the program because we're not here. I mean, because we got challenges. You know, some of these kids, man, got bigger challenges at their places, at their homes. You know, some houses here or some homes here are headed by kids, man. You understand? So this program is also adding on trying to develop, you know, because it's a space where they can also be in an environment where it's safer for them. In some of that, I mean, in terms of age, even 6-year-old, they do come. Although they like to play, I don't mind as long as they're around there. You understand? Instead of being at a place where they're not going to be safe. You understand? It's okay if they're around there, it's fine. They can go and play. Some they can learn. So this is the kind of a program that I'm running here. You understand? That's the kind of a program that I'm running.
And do you have those kids that you can say that this one is brilliant, has been here from the beginning? Then you could see their development over time. That you can even say, when we can have a festival with this crop of young kids or of mentees that you would have. Do you have such a group of kids that you can put on stage and say perform?
I even added one of the kids to be a partner in the NPO. Yeah, he's a partner in the NPO. This boy joined me in 2019. He joined me in 2019. He's been there from the day he has joined. His name is Atengo Situago. He's been there from the day he has joined.
Wow.
From the day he joined the academy. And when one partner decided to leave us, you know, to move out of the academy, because I mean this is an NPO. Then I decided that instead of looking for somebody, here's someone right here in front of me, and he has shown me that is dedicated to this program. He has learned a lot, in so much that he's the one who teaches the ones who are just starting.
Okay.
You know,
okay.
He's the one. Yeah, he's the one who's teaching the ones that who are just
beautiful.
starting, and he's the partner. He's the partner. And also, there's a boy who just joined me from Ekofimva. But can you imagine? People never thought that there would be a jazz musician that
there would be a jazz musician from Ekofimva. Yeah.
There's a boy. I'm going to Cape Town. Let me just jump into this.
Okay. Let's hear
I'm going
that.
to Cape Town the Easter weekend. He's going to be a part of the band. He's a trumpet player. He's going to be a part of the band. I played with him in December. On the 11th of December, we were invited by McCoy in Quebec. He was playing with me there. We were in East London, commemoration of Johnny Gianni, together with the Steve Biko birthday. We played at the Steve Biko Center. He was part of those programs. So there are kids here that are dedicated, that they've already shown that they are going somewhere. They have already shown me that they are going somewhere. Even if it's one kid, they make me proud.
The reason why I was asking you this question, because, you know, sometimes people tend to judge a project with the quantity, with the number of outputs. Like, for instance, in the university where I spend most of my time, excuse me, where I spend most of my time, the focus is always on the output. Kuyagrindwa ingathi kwenziwa sausage, kuyagrindwa nje. Xa uphuma on the other side, umuntu uphuma ukrwada apha ngaphandle mhle, but ngaphakathi akho ndikhoyo. So most people tend to judge projects on the basis of that. And for me, it was important for me to understand if there is that one person or those kids that you could say, Yabona Aba, I have changed their lives. Even ukungabikho kukaMlungisi Gegana as a person igaga, but the legacy of Mlungisi Gegana as would remain with these ones. Probably bona they would have more impact going forward.
Sure.
Yeah.
Also, the name, as you know, the name of Mlungisi Gegana. Coincidentally, my name is Mlungisi. As you know, this academy it's named after the township, because the township here, it's Mlungisi Township.
Not necessarily after you.
Not after me. No. We every time.
Not necessarily after you. It's not necessarily after you.
No,
it is named after the township.
Academy. After the township, it's called Mlungisi Township. For those who don't know it.
but by chance you became Mlungisi yourself.
We tell people all the time. There's a friend of mine, Mike Ntuasa, a very close friend of mine, is also a boardman. Every time if you go to a place or you got a meeting with somebody, said, okay, don't make a mistake. First, let's just take this out of the way. This academy is called the Mlungisi Music Academy because of the township where we're coming from.
Because of the geographical. No, thanks for that, because majority of people would have thought as well that ibizwa ngawe kanti.
No,
not necessarily. Where is the academy based? If somebody would say they're going to Queenstown and they are looking for the academy, just to go and see, because you know people. Good Samaritans, they don't announce. They just peep in at things and they look and they see if this really is a place. If a person would say, Mlungisi Music Academy, where is it located?
That question has a history. Let me just unpack it for you. It's not going to be long.
No problem.
Because in Queenstown there's an art center. I started there. And I asked if I could use this space. It was a mission also, you know, but I did. I wrote the letter and I was allowed to use this space. And I was given a space that I was not comfortable with, because the one that I wanted, they said it was full of old furniture. Then I thought I was just going to clean it and take it and put it in a place that it looks like a storeroom. But I was told that I can't use that. Then I was given a space that it's a public space that, you know, they host events on that one. Anybody can just come in and book it and say, I want to use it. Remember that I've got pianos, I've got all that kind of stuff. But I went. As the time goes, every time the department has an event, and they will come to me right now and say, we want to use it now. I must get out. I must leave the space. But I said to them, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to just leave. And most of the time they come when they're students. I'm busy teaching. They want me to move out and go somewhere else, which is they don't even tell me where to go, but they say we want to use this space.
Just find another place.
Just find another place. But I always, like I said, I'm not going to do that. I mean, you can chuck me out if you want, but I'm not going to do it, you know. But then I went to that space that I already wanted. I decided let me just go and clean it. But I said to them, if you wanted, you tell me, I'll come out, I'll move out.
Yes.
Then I went to clean it. I went to clean it, and then I took my students to that. It was a nice, safe space to teach. And then I was told that I must move out of that space because they want to use it as an office. The center manager going to use it as an office. And then I said, where must I go? Said, we don't know, but we need the space. And they also said to me, now there's going to be a 3-month contract. You can renew it after 3 months. But I said,
yes.
What can you do with 3 months? But you know what I thought? Even that contract was designed just to get rid of me.
Okay.
It was just designed to get rid of me. But I mean, then the COVID came. We had to move out because the first lockdown where everything was closed. So that was their excuse for me to get out of there. But
I see.
I moved out. I stayed at home for a while, but my kids were bothering. We're like, man, sir, we need to continue, but we know there's load shedding, but we can make a plan. But they started to ease up the levels until where they decided that you can open for so many people, half of the people in a certain venue, that kind of stuff. But I started like looking for a place. But I'm sure you remember a place called Izimfameni in Queenstown.
I do remember it, and I remember it with it as a bad experience in my head.
Yes,
I'll probably talk about it when we are done.
Okay, but I'm there now. I'm working from there. Yeah, I'm working from there now because my kids were like saying, man, there's a space there. Go and look for it. But I was not too comfortable because the way it looked, it was not too safe. It was not safe. But when I went there and there was one of the officials that works there, they were busy with electricity, and then something happened, and then the alarm just went off. Hardly 5 minutes, a red guard was there, and then I was like, oh, okay. Well, if this place is guarded like this...
This place is proper.
Yeah, it's guarded like this, and then I can take a risk. Then I spoken to them, and they gave me space. And then I'm the chairperson of the center now, because we got a committee there. We got an executive committee. Yeah, so I'm working from Royal Old Age Home. My space is there. My office is there, and also the school is situated there.
Yeah, for people who might not know the role, because sikhula thina singayazi ne role kusezimfameni. They call it ezimfameni. Yes. So the place I think it used to be a place of old age home for majority of people. They were old people. Some of them they were blind at the time. So we just called it ezimfameni. And I remember the place because in one of these the periods of the uprising, I first witnessed a person being burnt.
I think it was Mbuyiselo Makapela.
Yes, Mbuyiselo Makapela. Yes, that was the first time that I experienced that, and I even know that smell to this day. When in my type of job, I know when a person has been burnt. I can smell it because I remember that smell. And we were even told when to leave. Then we had to disperse, and immediately after dispersing, then that's when the police came after the Ntloko had dubulat. So I know the area. And I've seen that there was also processes of renovations that you did. And who was helping you to renovate? Because I saw it in December that you were renovating the space.
My friend Mike is attending this church. In this church, they have a program, where they help communities. Once they have to choose a certain area where it's really, really, really needed. Lucky for us, that place, it's like anytime can just fall. Not like fall, but it's in a bad state. It's in a bad state. And Mike spoken to the congregation, members of the congregation, and show them the pictures, and they were so touched. They said, this is the program that we're going to embark on this year. So I can't remember the name of the church, man. I think it's Latter Day Saint, something like that.
It's Church of Jesus Christ. Church. It's a Church of Jesus Christ of the Latter Day Saints.
Yes, yes, that's the church. Yeah,
Mm.
it's an international church. So those are the people that really, really helped us a lot, man. They fixed our toilets. They brought paints. They were helping. They even worked on our garden. They planted some stuff, and we were eating from that stuff, from the
Mm.
veggies that they planted. So yeah, it's the church that really helped us. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Now, Bramlu, in the work that you have done, it has shown that from the bottom up, you are making a change in a very dire situation. If people do not understand the level of the townships of our country has become, Mlungisi Township under the Enoch Mgijima municipality is one example of a dilapidated environment. And it is not only now the geography, the physical aspect of a dilapidation, but the mind of the young people which has been dilapidated. So you come in there to fix the mind so that these kids are able to see things beyond that. If you were to speak to somebody, we don't know who might be listening to this, we don't know who will listen to it at some point. If you were to listen to speak to somebody and make them understand the impact of the work that you do, what would you say? I give you this opportunity to speak to anybody who would be willing to help the NPO. It's a non-profit organization, Mlungisi Music Academy. Speak to that person and ucele amancedo, and try and show that person the impact of the work that you do Mlungisi under the Enoch Mgijima municipality.
Hey, my brother, the question is that look, Queenstown, it's a place that has produced world-class musicians. If we speak of the names of Mamu Margaret Mcingana, Victor Ndlazulwana, Stombi Mavi, Madoda Bobelo, Pet Machigiza, the list is long. And those people, they've made an impact in the world. And their names are still being called even today. Their music is still being played even today. This program, for me, it has to do more with changing the state of the town by impacting on just one child, as we said before. And that one child will influence another child, and that one will influence another child, might be 2 or 3. And it carries on like that. The importance of this program that I'm doing, it has so much to do with the stability also in the family, because people also don't understand that with music, especially when it comes to the people, kids that goes to school, there's a lot of learning that is happening here, in so much that it is an element of mathematics, because in music we do count, we do calculate, so it will help a child in terms of maths at school. Do you understand? Those are the kind of programs, those are the kinds of impacts that this project can do to a child or to children. All that we're asking from people that are out there listening is to give us the tools to work. I'm not looking for anybody's money, as much as I don't make money, but I don't struggle. I'm not looking for any money from anyone. I'm looking for something, even if it is money, something that will keep this project going, helping those kids that are already there. As I was saying today, that I have Ati, who's also a partner. I want Ati to have another partner in the same project, the partner that will also come from the same institution. I have very dedicated kids. There's another boy called Mdalwo Xolo, lives in one of the rural areas. Sometimes he comes, even if he doesn't have money. I gave him money to go back home. Even with food here, some of the food that we eat, I take money out of my pocket. Sometimes all of us, we contribute, and put money on the table to go and buy amakwin or bread or whatever that we buy. In summer that we always have tea, coffee, and sugar, so that we don't really struggle when it comes to having something to eat. We just buy, bread or something. But with this project that I'm doing, Of course, it has already impacted some families, as I was telling you a story about this young boy, and even with Atenkosi as well, and others, they've already impacted that. Would like to continue with this, even if I'm not there. You understand? And I always say to them, maybe in 10 years from now, I wouldn't even be coming to the academy unless if I'm really, really, really needed. That's the time that the people that are here will be running the program. You understand? Atengos is one of them, and Sive is also one of those kids because they're with me every day. They learn how to run this program, but of course with their ideas as well. I even listen to them, which is the best way to do this because it's a collaboration. This is an NPO. It's not Mlungisi Gegana's program. It's an NPO. It involves everyone who's involved in it. So everybody has a place. Everybody has a place.
I see, Sir Gex, thank you very much for this. And here is the question that is being posed to you. Probably it would be something that comes to your mind. Uneliswa Simogu is asking, have you ever tried to get the funding from National Lottery for the Academy? Because it is it is something that can assist to keep the children off the streets. Have you ever tried this approach?
More than once. More than once. The last one was last year. The only thing it was declined, and the reason that I was given was because one of the reference letter didn't have a signature from the person who was recommending us. That was the reason that I was given. But I do let me see where. Thank you so much. I do, my sister. I do.
I think even if there's people who have a know-how and a better way of helping Usa Gex on this work that he is doing, please make sure that you also come through for him. And you are not only coming through for him, as he has said, you can come through for the kids. You can make a difference. Remember what he's trying to do is he talks about Margaret Mcingana or Bostompi Mavi and the likes. The list is very long. So if you are to help the project, you are not only helping the legacy of Mlungisi Gegana and the kids, but you are talking about the ancestors of music in the South African music industry. So we plead with everybody who can be of assistance to be of assistance. But Mlungisi, thank you very much, Puti, for making the time to sit with us. We can see that already the lights are not available. There used to be lights, no golden apple. We used to walk in the night when we were growing up. And you don't know how things change. And they became Komani became the worst and an unfortunate thing. So thank you very much for being with us in this conversation. And some of our viewers are also saying thank you to you as well.
Thank you, Nelisa.
Give us your parting shots. Give us your parting shots.
I'm in my daughter's bedroom because I ran away from the lounge. They're watching TV. I thought, here, I'll have my own privacy.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much to those that are watching the program. Thank you, Sister Nelisa. I hope one day we'll meet because I go around. Like I was saying, I'm going to Cape Town. Thank you so much. I hope that, I said what needed to be said about the Music Academy because it was not about me, and it's not, my life is not about me anymore. It's about those around me. It's about those that are around me. I have small little kids that touch me every day, even in my street. Oh, me vuyo, they call me bra, and people say, bra. They're grand, but they call me bra. So I'm very close. The grandkids. I'm very close to children. I'm very close. They love me and I love them. I think that's one of the passions, that's what also drives me to have this kind of a passion that I have for this kind of a development that I'm doing. Yeah. Thank you so much. I hope we'll meet with everyone who's watching one day.
No, thank you very much, Sir Gex, and I appreciate that you have made this time. It's not only a small thing that I were to sit with a legend and be in a conversation with a legend. People tend to think that legends are certain people but I know And the idea of this program is to allow people who are not normally spoken to and spoken about to speak on their own. So siyabulela kakhulu for making the time, and I'm sure somebody somewhere is listening and they have learned something. Thank you very much, Putenko Skakul.
Thank you so much. Please say hello when you're around Queenstown next time.
I'll do that. I'll do that.
All right. Cool, thank you so much.
Right.
All right.
Good. The viewers at home, you have heard and you have listened to the great man, a well-rounded musician that has so much passion about music and the love and the love of the things that he does. Mlungisi is a great person. Is a great musician. You can go check out his music. It's available. You can buy it. You can order from him. He said he's available on 072-514-9480, on email at mlugeg@yahoo.com. He's also a radio talk show, a radio jazz host. He hosts a show on Vukan FM, a local music, a local radio station. On Sundays, he does host that. Please make sure that you are helping wherever you are helping. As you can see, the impact of the work that he's doing. I try to show you the linkages between the state of affairs in a community and how it impacts on these young children, and also how do ordinary people do the things that they do to impact the life of the ordinary Black children in our country. The public, the mass media does not normally speak about these people and these projects. Pontepolitik is speaking about it. The type of topics that this platform speaks about, not everybody speaks about them. But what is nice is that after we have spoken about them, we are able to hear them, we are able to see them in a public domain. I'll make an example. Earlier, I spoke about Amapara and what they do on the roads. Just during the week, I saw on Twitter and on Facebook, there was that conversation. The other time we spoke about the flag of South Africa, the new flag, that is the Rainbow Nation flag. Just on Twitter and on Facebook, we've heard people talking about how the AfriForum and the Freedom Front Plus logos have got a resemblance in the South African post-1994 flag. The other time we spoke about the issues that relate to what was it about? I just forgot now. There was another aspect that we're talking about, and I heard it. They were talking about it on SAFM. So don't think that when you participate in these conversations on Pontepolitik and you think that they are not making an impact. That's why we keep on asking you to make sure that you subscribe. Here is the information, Pontepolitik on YouTube. Twitter is the same thing. You retweet on Facebook, you follow us, Instagram and on TikTok. We are available, and we are asking each and every person to tell their friends that we are engaging on different types of topics that are impactful to the society. From next week onwards, we are going to be going full steam, engaging on political matters that are very, very, very complex. So we still want you to be part and parcel of the conversation, because Pontepolitik is about expanding and doing no superficial analysis. Emva kwale mini, thank you very much once again for joining us. Umtungwa, uyangwa umalingi, undima kankumbuzo, uyabulela kakhulu for being part of this conversation. Akwaba amanyange nabalala ukuthula banganikhusela kwindawo ngendawo enihlelini kuzo. Dithi kuni nangomso uthando lwethu kaDlanga uthi bye bye. Enjoy your day and your evening. See you tomorrow and the day after and the day after that.